Welcome back to the show. I am so glad you're joining us today. Whether you're currently nursing a newborn in a quiet nursery in Chicago, or maybe you're stuck in that infamous morning traffic in Los Angeles, just trying to find a moment of peace before the chaos of the day truly begins. We all know that being a parent is, well, it's exhausting. It's a marathon that never seems to have a finish line, especially in those early months when you feel like you're just surviving on lukewarm coffee and 3 hours of broken sleep. But what if I told you that you don't need an extra hour in your day or a degree in developmental psychology to radically change the trajectory of your baby's brain development? It sounds too good to be true, right? But the science is actually very clear. It's the small, micro moments, the 1-minute habits that build the architecture of the human brain. We're talking about 6 science-backed habits that take literally 60 seconds or less, habits that fit into the life you're already living, whether you're in a high-rise in New York or a suburban home in Houston. We aren't adding more to your to-do list. We're just shifting the way you do what you're already doing. And honestly, these are the things I wish someone had whispered in my ear when I was a first-time mom struggling to figure it all out. Let's dive into the first one, because this is a game changer for motor skills, and it's all about how you physically pick up your baby. Think about it. How many times a day do you lift that little one off the changing table or out of the crib? Probably dozens, right? Most of us have this habit of reaching down, putting our hands under their armpits, and lifting them straight up, like a little crane. But research in pediatric physical therapy suggests a much better way, something called the side roll lift. Have you ever noticed how much effort it takes for a baby to hold their head steady when they are pulled straight up? Instead of that vertical lift, try this. Slowly roll your baby onto their side first, and then scoop them up. It takes maybe 5 extra seconds, but what you're doing is incredible for their brain. When you roll them, you're engaging their core muscles, their neck stabilizers, and their vestibular system, which is that internal sensor for balance and spatial orientation. It's like a mini workout for their nervous system every single time you pick them up. It mimics the same muscle engagement they get during tummy time, but without the frustration or the crying that sometimes happens when we plop them on their bellies. It's such a subtle shift, but over a year, that's thousands of repetitions of core strengthening, all happening while you're just moving them from point A to point B. Now, let's move to the second habit, which turns one of the most repetitive chores of parenting into a powerhouse for language development. I'm talking about the diaper change. We spend a lot of time at that changing station, don't we? In those first few months, it feels like a never-ending cycle of wipes and tabs. But instead of just rushing through it to get back to your real life, try sportscasting. This is a term used by early childhood educators, and it's exactly what it sounds like. You are giving a play-by-play of everything you're doing. Instead of silence or checking your phone while you wipe, look Michael in the eyes and say, "Okay, now I'm lifting your legs. Feel that cold wipe? Now we're putting on the fresh, clean diaper. And snap, there goes the onesie." It sounds simple, maybe even a little silly, but here's the science. Your baby's brain is a pattern recognition machine. When you narrate your actions, you are connecting words to physical sensations and movements in real time. This is the gold standard for building vocabulary. You aren't just talking at them, you're involving them in a shared experience. This builds what researchers call joint attention, which is a foundational building block for all future social and cognitive learning. So, next time you're facing a blowout in your Miami apartment, just remember, you're not just cleaning a mess, you're conducting a high-level language seminar. Okay, this third one is actually a bit controversial because it involves something that is present in almost every single American home. But it's something that research shows is quietly, and I mean very quietly, slowing down infant development. It's background noise, and specifically, the TV. I know. We all love a little background noise. Maybe you have the news on in the morning or a talk show playing while you fold laundry. You aren't even watching it, and your baby isn't watching it either. So it's fine, right? Well, not exactly. Study after study, including some really famous work out of the University of Washington, shows that background TV significantly reduces the number of words a child hears from their parents. And even more importantly, it reduces the number of times a baby vocalizes. When there is constant noise, the baby's brain has a harder time filtering out the signal from the noise. Imagine trying to learn a foreign language in a crowded, noisy bar in Manhattan. It's exhausting, right? For a baby, the TV is that noisy bar. So the 1-minute habit here is simple: the click. When you aren't actively watching something, just turn it off. Create those moments of intentional silence or play very soft instrumental music. When the background noise drops, the frequency of your interactions with your baby will naturally rise, and their brain can finally focus on the most important sound in their world: your voice. Let's move on to habit number 4, and this one is just pure joy. It's called the mirror game, and it's based on the discovery of mirror neurons in the brain. These are special cells that fire both when we perform an action and when we see someone else perform that same action. They are the biological basis for empathy, imitation, and social bonding. For 60 seconds a day, get your face very close to your baby's. We're talking about 8 to 12 inches away, which is their sweet spot for vision, and just copy them. If baby Sarah sticks out her tongue, you stick out yours. If she widens her eyes in surprise, you do the same. It's a literal feedback loop. When you mirror their expressions, you are telling their brain, "I see you, I understand you, and what you feel is reflected in me." This doesn't just build a bond, it actually helps them map their own facial muscles and understand the rules of human interaction. It's one of the most powerful ways to boost social emotional intelligence, and it costs absolutely nothing. You can do it while you're waiting for the microwave to beep, or while you're sitting on the floor of your living room in Philadelphia. Just 1 minute of pure, undistracted mirroring. Now, habit number 5 is something I call the 5-second pause. And this is really a test of patience for us adults, especially if you're a fast-talking, high-energy person from New York, like me. We often treat babies like they are passive observers, but they are actually deep thinkers who just happen to have very, very slow processors. When you ask your baby a question, like, "Do you want your red ball?" our instinct is to wait maybe half a second and then just give them the ball or keep talking. But the science of serve and return says we need to wait. The habit is this: after you speak to your baby, count to 5 in your head before you say anything else. Just 5 seconds. It will feel like an eternity at first, but watch what happens. You'll see their little eyes move. You'll see their mouth start to shape a sound. You'll see their hands reach out. That 5-second window is where the return happens. It gives their brain the time it needs to process your serve, formulate a response, and send the signal to their body to react. By simply slowing down, you are respecting their cognitive pace, and you're teaching them that communication is a two-way street. It's a conversation, not a monologue. This is how you build a child who feels heard and confident in their ability to communicate. Finally, habit number 6, and this is one that you can do while you're out for a stroll, or even just walking from the kitchen to the bedroom. It's the point and name. Now, you might think, I already tell my baby what things are. But are you doing it with shared gaze? There's a specific neurological magic that happens when you point at an object, wait for your baby to look at it, and then name it. It's not just saying tree, it's making sure you are both looking at the same tree. Researchers have found that this joint attention is the single best predictor of a child's vocabulary size at age 2. So, when you're walking through a park in Chicago and you see a dog, don't just walk by. Stop for 1 minute, point clearly at the dog, wait for your baby's eyes to track your finger to the dog, and then say, "Look, a big brown dog." That triangle between you, the baby, and the object is the learning zone. It's where the brain anchors new information. 1 minute of point and name a few times a day is worth more than a dozen expensive educational DVDs because it's grounded in human connection and real-world context. So let's recap these 6 power moves, because I know we've covered a lot. First, the side roll lift to build that core strength and vestibular balance. Second, sportscasting during diaper changes to flood their brain with contextual language. Third, the click, turning off the background TV to clear the static and let your voice shine through. Fourth, the mirror game to activate those empathy-building mirror neurons. Fifth, the 5-second pause to give their growing brain the space it needs to respond. And sixth, the point and name to build joint attention and vocabulary. None of these things require a fancy toy, a subscription service, or even a lot of energy. They just require you to be present for 60 seconds at a time. We live in such a fast-paced world, especially here in the U.S., where we're always looking for the next hack or the most expensive piece of gear to give our kids an edge. But the truth is, the most powerful tool for your baby's brain development is you. Your voice, your touch, your attention, and your willingness to slow down just for a minute. You're doing a great job. I know it doesn't always feel like it, but these little moments, they are building a lifetime of potential. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.